This is iRacing. After a weekend of action-packed driving, the weekend now comes to a close with one of the premier historic series on the sim with the classic Lotus Grand Prix series. A series that has taken on evolution last season and now a new evolution with the beginnings of a year-long series. But today, it's the start of Season 2, and with new names and faces last season, it was Andreas Henkel who powered to victory to take his debut championship. So, will he be able to defend that title? Or will a new name, or even a former champion, be able to take that trophy away from Andreas? That question will be answered today as we visit Road America for the first time in 2 seasons. And of course, you will see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel and here live on iRacing. Hello everyone, I am Craig King, and with me in the booth, as you can see, is Jeremy Scott. In the director's chair is Daniel Costello with Christian Deploy, and he'll be using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Now, Jeremy, for the 6th year running, the Lotus 79 community have been the staple of Sunday afternoons on the sim. And it's clear to see with such a good community like this. Well, while we do that, we're just going to have a quick look at this because this is the legendary track for IndyCar since the 70s. Mario Andretti took the first victory around here. Now, to find out more about what makes this track so popular with the drivers, we're going to head over to the GSRC Track Guide, brought to you by Joe Peak.
Welcome to Road America. Nicknamed America's National Park of Speed, it's easy to see why just by looking at how the track is laid out. Long straights are a major feature, and drivers will build up incredible momentum before they find themselves interrupted by tight 90-degree corners. In fact, for a 4-mile circuit, it has shockingly few turns. It also has little in the way of variation in layouts. The main course is only broken up once with a single chicane added in the bend version. But don't take this to mean that it's a boring track. Elevation change happens many times over a lap, with a few places taking you into corners which are quite blind. But 2 of the turns on the back half of the course are perhaps the most distinctive. One is the carousel with its more than 180-degree radius. It just feels like it never stops. The other is the kink. Terrifyingly fast with very little runoff, it can end someone's race in a flash. As you'd expect, the heavy braking zones make for some ideal overtaking spots. Turn 5 sees plenty with its downhill entry. The hurried downs can offer drivers a chance at a sneak attack if you're brave, and then Canada Corner gives you one last shot before the lap is over. It's no wonder major organizations such as IMSA, IndyCar, NASCAR, and the SCCA all host major races here. All in all, many drivers rate this track as the best track in North America. Many who hop in the seat and try it can quickly understand why.
Well, that was the legendary Joe Peak giving us a view of this track. And a man that knows a lot about it, now he's back with us, Jeremy. I did see you were wearing a certain shirt representing this track earlier. You know a lot about this track out here today.
Yeah, sorry, I had to go out to the gearbox and get my RGPs, but nonetheless, this is a fantastic facility for these cars. 4.048 miles in length, and of course you've got several great passing opportunities, and drivers are going to be driving through the trees, especially heading into turn number 5, which will catch a lot of drivers out, and then going between 11 and 12 through Kettle Bottoms. One of my favorite memories of the track is actually being a corner marshal for the Champ Car World Series and seeing the Audi R8 at speed, R10, I should say, at speed through Kettle Bottom. So this track and I have a lot of memories, and I'm really excited to bring a little bit of history here to the facility.
Yeah, it's one of these tracks that I do love seeing. Funny enough, it's one of the oldest tracks in the world that has not had any modifications. It was created in this format in 1955, and the only changes to the track have been adding an extra part for a motorcycle course and changing the way the pit lane runs. So you can just see how legendary this track can be around here as you see the famous bridge going up to turn 6. It's a corner. I have to say, Jeremy, it catches me out when I'm driving. It catches a lot of drivers out because you do prone to lock up around that corner.
You do, because you're coming up through the hill and you got to start braking just a little bit before or right at the Corvette bridge to set yourself up. That entry is blind going into turn 6, also in real life, and that's where a lot of the great pictures are taken of this facility. Of course, you have the entry to the carousel. There's turn 5, which, again, that's another hot spot that we're going to see. Some drivers, because you're going downhill on your braking, it's going to make life a little bit difficult, especially when you want to try and make a pass. It's a great passing opportunity, but I think it's going to be one of the toughest ones here.
Well, as we were saying, it is round 1 of the 12 rounds this season. Today, it's 21 laps out there, and it is open setup. The community love to help each other out. They love to provide setups that everyone can use and do, or you can make your own. But remember, you bring your own car, you crash it, it's done. There's no spare car out here today. So once you're done, you're back in the hauler. 17 incident points for a drive-through, disqualification at 25. In theory, and I'm knocking on wood, they shouldn't really be seeing that today, Jeremy. There's not a lot of opportunities to get a lot of off-tracks here.
No, there's not, because, you know, some of these racetracks we see it's narrow, but there are some wide open spaces. And as we're about 4 minutes left in the qualification, this is the usual spring weather in East Central Wisconsin. But there's plenty of stuff to do outside of the track as well. If you are here at Road America at any point during the season, definitely check out a lot of good supper clubs. There's Elkhart Lake. They've actually got great farmers market on Saturdays as well. So a lot of stuff to do here away from the track, which you don't normally see at normal racetracks.
No, you don't normally see that. You don't normally see these cars going around the tracks nowadays like this. You don't see 29 of them going around, as you saw just as we went live there. Partonen, the postman, taking pole position so far, but still a lot of laps out there. 3.5 minutes to go. You're looking, as you can see, about 148, 149 for a lot of these qualifying, and we would like to say it's the usual suspects out there. But Kartik Pai currently taking the way down. Interesting, Toga Husada. He has decided to stay up once again, and he is looking to push on. Down he will go into the hard braking at the start of the track. That's turn 3. Always love that. You get it right, and look at this rundown to that turn 5 you mentioned already.
Yeah, it's always satisfying if you can get off a turn 3 in great fashion. Seen Togo, though, doing that. No surprise there. And no surprise to see him at the top of the charts. That's an interesting line. You don't normally see that. Drivers running over that rumble strip there. Drivers right going into entry, because if you do, you can normally get it all wrong. As see the number 2 coming into Canada corner. That's another corner you really want to get right, because it sets you up through the Bill Mitchell bend and into turn number 14.
Yeah, into that famous Bill Mitchell bend, into turn 14, a tough corner, because where do you start turning? Where do you start getting on the throttle? Partonen's found the right way, has he? He's got to find a couple tenths if he really wants to get ahead of Togo here. Matching won't be enough if he goes up the hill. Uses as much light as he can. He smashed it. He's got that 2 tenths he wanted. And Togo Hitsada, he needs to make a response. Viekainen goes up to 3rd.
And a tenth of a second here at Road America is basically next to nothing. Razor thin. Here as Timothy Reed comes across the line, he 49.1, 48.8. So that bumps him up to 7th place.
We've still got Toga Hitsada out there. He's going around the final corner. Little bit of a slide. Did he go a little bit too wide at the exit of turn 14 there? All will be known in a couple hundred meters if he comes up the hill one last time. And is it going to be Ichiban for the Japanese driver? It is by 2 tenths at a 48 flat, basically. Going up Rich as well, going up to P3. Dylan Frackleton could be going. JD Rodriguez now going up the order into 3rd. Fantastic times. We're looking at Dylan Frackleton. Looks to be one of the last drivers out there who could make a difference. 125 left. There's a couple other drivers out there. Kundhart is well there. But this is Frackleton. He would really love to get into the top 10. This is the caliber of the driver. You can see you can't hurry. You've just got to take it easy. He will cross the line, and it is better. And he gets that top 5, 10 he wanted. Sorry, not top 5, only 7th.
Yeah, still plenty of time if you cross the line now, want to get another flyer in. But nonetheless, we're starting to see those times really start to fall down. 48.9 for the 20 Cassini, and that's going to bring him up to 11th here.
Yeah, Daniel Gallus is going to be one of the last men to try and set a lap. The times are starting to hurry on as Daniel will come across. He's got to just park it. Cannot get that. Antonio Vazquez will be probably the last man, and he will be the last man to set a time. He goes up to 26. What's interesting today, 3 splits out there, 29 drivers everywhere. It's going to be really interesting to see 29 car grid. And remember, Jeremy, it's a standing start here.
Yeah, and a standing start is absolutely tough, especially because it's kind of uphill. If you remember back in 07 when Champ Car was here, they actually did their standing start past start finish because that's the first point where these cars level off. You go up that straightaway and you start to crest right at the start finish line. So just a handful of seconds left. Looks like Asada will get to the pole.
Yep, it is going to be Ichiban for Togo Hisada looking to get another win in the car today as we just wait for the qualifying to officially roll down. He will take pole position by almost 3/10 from Paulie Partonen, who will be in second. And of course, it will be JD Rodriguez in third, and Gernot Friss will take 4th. There it is, row 3. Vino Viakainen will be 5th. Kartik Pai will take 6th. Dylan Freckerton will take 7th. Alex Millwood, 8th. Timothy Reed will take 9th, and Oe Samolo will take 10th for the first page. Jeremy's got your second.
On to row number 6 is Pierre Cassini, followed by Alexander Matei, Connor Tolman, and Gabri Martinez Tolman. What a fitting name for the series. That's row 7. Rylan Potter and Xavier Sanchez make up row 8. Philip Cunhart and Han Sommer make up row 9. And Craig, row 10 is Tyler Green and Christian Lohr.
Yeah, one last page to go as they get ready to grid up. Steve Langton will be 21st with Ryan Ware in 22nd. Row 12 will be Javier Mosquera and Barry West. Then Karen Parrish and Antonio Vazquez will be that 13th row. Ricardo Ruiz and Julian Dishburn will be 14th. Last of the time qualified. Daniel Gallus, as we saw, did not set a lap time out there today. 29 cars as they get ready to get on that grid. We've got a minute left to go for gridding. This is the rundown as you see some of these cars running classic liveries as well. And that's the nature, the fun of the historic series. They love to just throw their own little speciality into this. And they have their own little fun little league that you can join over on the community Discord. Which if you would love more information on the forums, the iRacing forums, there is a lot of information regarding this and their Discord. It is a fantastic community. The classic car community in iRacing is just fantastic to see because you just never know what you're going to get. A lot of people, they're really happy, and these guys are going to be happy as we get ready for 21 laps around Road America. Barney's getting ready with the flag and wait to see him go down. It will be light out shortly. And here we go, and it's a good start once again from Partonen. Not the best for Togo Hisada, and JD Rodriguez will try and see what he can do on that overtake. Not going to be anything he can do right now. Hisada's going to have to resign himself to P2 off the exit of turn 1. We've got a car flying off into the barrier. Did not see. We've got a couple others just going off. I believe that was Alex Millwood who had a big moment. Elsewhere up the field, we can start to see the kind of making move in the background. Antonio Vazquez, 6 places up.
Yeah, turn 1 on any start or restart. Always a tricky situation here at Road America because you got to go down a couple clicks and then take that hard right. Now here comes the other part of the track that I'm really worried about. That's turn 5. Looks like Vilcane and Rodriguez going side by side. So far, so good. It looks like maybe Rodriguez with a little bit of a wiggle coming out of turn number 5.
Yeah, got a little bit too wide there. Had to give the space. Gave probably a little bit too much space there, and he was unfortunate there. Barry West in the background is well, a driver that's gone around, as is Javier Sanchez. He has had a moment out there. Virkainen already 2 spots up today. JD Rodriguez 2 spots down. They hit turn 7 and into turn 8, and now they go to the carousel 9 and 10. Now we're going to see the power really come down because they'll hit the kink very shortly, and who will be the best of the late breakers as they come to Canada corner.
And it's still pretty early. You don't want to take the king too heavy So far this race looks like got one car off in the back coming off the carousel. That's easy to do. Little bit of a wiggle there coming through the King. And yeah, once those tires get warmed up, it'll be a little bit easier going down. That was Matei, I believe, battling for a position there coming off the King. As Matei in a great position to make something happen on the outside, but he's going to have to forfeit that to Kuhnhardt.
Yeah, and Hans Sommer just in the background. He just had to have a little moment there. Let's watch this start. It was Alex Millwood with just on board here with the number 9, and it looks like just a car just got a little bit too tight there. That was Dylan Freckleton. I know that's a Dylan Freckleton paint whenever I see it there in the purple. Just got a little bit too much there and just tried to give too much room. Just lost it. It's unfortunate. It's a lap 1 issue. It's one of those things you see in motor racing, and this is what happens when you have these grid starts.
Yeah, and it's 21 laps, long race here for Road America. Of course, 4 miles a lap, anything can happen, but still, see what happens here on the nose of Timothy Reed as he tries to chase down Pi for 6th place. And the draft is going to be key in those 3 straightaways between 14 and 1, 3 and 5, and 11 and 12. See if he tries to make a move here. I think he's a little bit too far away to make anything happen, but closes up nice and tight through turn number 5. Nice rotation, too, really from both cars off that corner.
Yeah, really good rotation from Timothy, as we just saw on the nose cam. A few drivers in the pits as well. Christian Lower, Barry West, Kevin Perez, Antonio Vazquez, Julian Ditchburn, and Ryan Potter, and Javier Sanchez, and of course the Alex Martinez. This is why they're in the pits getting some repairs. Barry West looks like he's going to be unfortunate hit. Did he get a bit too hot on the brakes? These new tires, you got to take your time to just warm up. I mean, did he get spun around? No, there was an incident in front of him. And, just so many cars. It's a blind corner, turn 5. Yeah. Not a lot you can see unless you see the yellow flag. And it's just a little bit of an unfortunate moment.
Well, even that, it's too little too late, because once the incident happens past the corner, that's where you're going to have those issues of those pileups.
Yep. And pile-ups, damage cause damage, and the drivers try to get out of the way, but you can only just stop so much. It is like a domino effect. Everyone just starts falling down. Timothy Reed hoping he doesn't hit the skid plates today and just causes some issues out there with the weight, as he's looking for a really good run on Pi here, and maybe he'll get it, because the head JD Rodriguez is not giving him any slipstream. They're trying to battle themselves, and Timothy is just going to have this to himself. You see Toga Hizada, fastest lap so far, side by side they'll go. The spark spraying up like the classic cars, and these Lotus 79 delivering, and Timothy Reed up 3 places now at the start of the day. He's currently sitting in 6th. He wants to catch up to the top 5.
Yeah, you definitely want to get up to the top 5 early on before they walk away. Of course, speaking of Hizada, yeah, not a bad lap there. We're on board with Pi as he comes down. He's trying to get into that 6th place. Reed has it. Let's stay on board with him here so you can kind of see that downhill slope. Now, what you see on camera really doesn't do justice to what you see in person, because it's, you go down for the slope and then you set yourself up. So nice little drop to get ready to go back downhill. And you're going downhill all the way to Canada Corner at this point.
Yeah, it is like a roller coaster. You've gone a little bit of a downhill, you've gone uphill, and now you're enjoying all the ride. And what a ride it is if you go through the carousel. Not there yet. They're just coming out of 8 into 9, and this is such a fun corner. Dab on the brakes, lift the throttle, whichever way you want. Earliest to the throttle gives you good run, but don't lift off. I was a little bit wide there from Reed. Pi just kept on going. Maybe a chance then for Kartik Pi to look for a move here, but I think he's just too far away. And this is the nature of Road America. This is why some of the drivers like it. It is such a strategy track. Well, look at the slipstreaming you're seeing. You get Connor Tolman here trying to do his best Tolman impersonation, just having to wait behind Dylan Freckleton.
Yeah, all you can do is wait sometimes, especially when somebody makes a mistake. You get a tire off here at Road America, it's not necessarily going to destroy your car, might destroy your momentum, because in spite of this being a horsepower track, you still have to have a fair amount of momentum, because if you get something wrong off one corner, the drivers behind you, they're getting ready to capitalize. As we see the battle for 9th place heating up now. It's a several car battle, but also, as you mentioned, Craig, the draft is going to play a big key here. So you're going to see drivers kind of weaving left and right going into those heavy braking zones.
I like to call it the IndyCar weave, because that's what it is. Yep. You break that toe as much as you can, and what a better place to call an IndyCar weave than an IndyCar track at Road America. And it's so good to see as Tolman continues to look to see if he gets a run here on Freckleton. I reckon he's got it now. He's closing in, but ahead of them, Gunnar Fritsch still looking to get some moves. He is trying to get past JD Rodriguez, not making it stick. Freckleton held off Tolman there, which is one thing to see. These guys are battling so hard, but they're trying to catch up to the top three. Parton and Hisada, Viakayan, the former champions for a reason. They've already got a 3-second lead over everybody.
And Fricha really running quite nicely. I saw how he didn't let the lunge that Rodriguez tried to get into turn 5 phase him. We're on board with our fastest lap driver, Togo Hisada. Would not be surprised if he's just sizing up Partonen for a later run. It's still really early. We're only 4 laps into this race, so no shock here that Hisada's doing all he can, kind of saving his tires, biding his time, and that's just how he is. He's patient, methodic. That's what you want in these cars, because the horsepower to weight ratio, you start abusing stuff and it's going to go really wrong really quick.
Well, in the day where the Grand Suno Championship ended in Japan, Toga Hisada's looking to do a Onosato and Nota Takayasu and finish in second today. He will look to go on, but these drivers are having their own little battle as Pai has lost some time to Timothy Reed. A bad final sector has allowed Oe Zamola to really get on. There's no slipstream to be able to use. He's going to take it up ahead side by side. It's JD Rodriguez on it to go up Fritz. He gets by and up ahead behind again. As we saw Zamola, he gets that position. This is where they've got to be careful. You don't want to go side by side making you move into turn 3. As we talked about before, this is the important run.
Yeah, now you got to keep Pai behind you. I think there's a good enough gap where Pai won't be able to do the over-under there. Now, here's the thing. Zamola's got to focus on Reed to get up there. Here's Hisada once again. He's closed in on Partonen for the battle for the lead. I think it's still a little too early for that. Still watch this battle for 5th place between Fricha and Reed. They're swapping left and right, and man, going high on turn 6. That's a little bold this early in the race.
It's a little bold early in this race, but also with the track temp of 67 Fahrenheit and 20 Celsius. Sorry, that just went up a Fahrenheit as I was talking. It's interesting to see that the cold temps at 9 o'clock in the morning sim time really helping these drivers. That's why first couple of laps with these cold tires probably would have been an issue for these drivers. So they're just having to now start to put the times in. The tires have started to warm up. Han Frisk really start to pull in. He needs all these drivers to work with him. Think of it as peloton racing in the Grand Tour of cycling. You kind of need to work together here. So if you're faster, make the move, but make sure you do it without losing a lot of time. That's what Timothy Reed is good at doing. He gets that overtake done. Everyone realizes they are working to get back to the top 5.
Such a great battle here for 5th place. I'm back. Reed, Fricha, Zamola, Pai, and Martinez all involved in this scrap coming off of turn number 14. Single file. Now you're going to start to see that weave as they're trying to break each other's draft, because if they stay together, yeah, one car's just going to suck up the other one going into turn 1. But can we see that? Does Fricha pop to the inside of Reed? No, yes, he does. He shuts the door on Zamola going through turn 1. Nobody makes a pass, and that's the move you're going to see later on in this race.
Well, in the background, Gabi Martinez actually did make a pass. He's going to make another pass. He's not waiting for this game. He's going side by side into free with Zamoa, and he gets it done. Now look who gives the slipstream here. That's going to be quite helpful, and it looks like he's taken the normal racing line, so that belongs to Gabi Martinez. He'll have to go around the outside of turn 5, which is always very tricky. Is there going to be a response here? There is a response, but there's not enough overlap, and a fantastic little move there from Gabi Martinez around the outside of turn 5. Anytime you can make a move at turn 5 is one to applaud. Around the outside, a tip of the hat, my son.
Yeah, that was a great move there for position. This is probably the battle of the race so far as we take a look at this. It's 5th through 10th basically going through there as we see 10th place falling back just a little bit. That's Coney Cesny in the number 28. And something that took me a little bit to realize too, that carousel is downhill, so you can get a good amount of speed going into the kink, and he's flat out through the kink. So now we're at the point in the race where the tires have started to hook up, and you can take that kink flat out. So somebody breathes off the pedal just a little bit, Greg. There's gonna be a pounce in the Canada corner.
Yeah, I'll tell you someone who actually did not have a good moment at the carousel. Tyler Green went a bit too wide and went off track, and he's had a crash. These guys haven't had a crash yet. And hopefully they won't, knock on wood. We don't want to see any more carnage out there as Gabby Martinez gets a nice little run here. He almost got hit on the back from Peter, but he gets a nice little run. And I think Kartik, once again, too far away to really get a run, but we've got to keep our eyes on the lead battle. These two started to really pull ahead of Viekainen. That's impressive in itself. But now you just see it's a two-car battle. And if you're Togo Hisada, you're 7 out of 21 laps. You don't want to take it yet. But if you do, you just know that the postman, he's going to be waiting to make a delivery.
And he's going to look to the inside. He's sizing up Partonen going into turn number 5. And it's an interesting line that Hisada is taking into turn 5. Very unconventional, but it does open up the corner a lot. Let's hang on board here. I want to see what he does through turn number 8. As he goes through the right-hander at turn number 7. That's also a nice little kick you really want to stay on throttle for. Partonen taking the defensive line into turn number 8, so that's kind of interesting, too far away. Also breaks up that that draft that Hisada has, and let's see what he does through the kink as well as we go through 9 and 10, which is known as the carousel. Neat little observation area they had this year as well at Road America, if you have a chance to go.
Yeah, I'd love to one day. One day, I tell you what, I'd love to just come over one day just to see racing here. The racing we get on the sim is fantastic, and you can see ground effect cars in play here, and that's why they're able to just really keep the throttle down on these corners. Hisada not able to catch up too much, but at the same time, that strategy, why be right on the back of Partonen? If you're keeping this gap, it's a safe gap. Because again, you wait your turn. Why they'll go Partonen? Is Hisada going to pounce on this? This could be very interesting. We'll wait as they climb up the hill. Once they climb up the hill, the slipstream should really kick in. The overspeed comes in, and there goes Hisada. He's going to go up to the outside. Partonen will do a little bit of a squeeze, respectful squeeze, but I think he knows it's going to be all for nothing. He'll fight this. I'll tell you what, he's fighting out very well. He hits that position to Partonen round the outside of turn 1.
Partonen left that front door open just a little bit. Hisada got a foot in, and then Partonen just slammed it on him going through turn number 1. That was a fantastic move out of our leader, as now you can barely see the rest of the field behind your top 2 as we're watching them go into turn number 5. Hisada looks to the inside once again, but still Partonen a little bit later on the brakes than Hisada.
Hisada's just doing I'm still here. I had a chance to get by you once. I'm going to get by you sometime. That's what Togo's looking to do out there today. And he really wants to just keep on there to keep the pressure going. And hopefully he can. In the backfield, I see on the timing tower, Dylan Freckleton losing a position to Philip Kuhnhardt. I think he had a moment out there. Probably have to look back at that. But again, timing tower provided for GSRC. Really good if you just want to keep an eye on your favorite driver. And a lot of these drivers are quite well known when it comes to Legends Racing. Just not only on the GSRC community broadcast, but also here elsewhere on iRacing and highlight clips.
Yeah, you see the sparks for the just a little bumps that are there at Road America. Nothing too major, nothing like Sebring, but still, there's a little bit of undulation in the surface. Take a look at the replay in the upper right, and it looks like Tyler Green, little wiggle coming off the carousel and a spin, and pretty heavy contact. That wall on driver's right is really inviting for drivers who get that tire off of the pavement there, driver's left. So we will see if he is able to get back on, obviously, in the pits, but still, this battle for the lead heats up. Here comes Hisada under that rear wing of Partonen. We saw Partonen give him the inside line, but take the outside. Oh, Partonen going to the inside. That's a strange move.
I think that's Partonen saying, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you, or whatever way it goes, because the moment I saw Togo go right to the back wing of Partonen, that said to me, Togo was not looking for an overtake this time by. He realized that he didn't need to. And when you look at the times, the lap times, 150 flat for both these drivers last time by. Now comes Hisada. He's had a chance. He's going to go for this into turn 5. He'll be hit the middle of the race. Wide goes Partonen. He tries to hold it. That's a bit too wide there. He's going to try and respond on this around the outside of 6. You don't see this a lot. Side by side they'll go. Partonen's got the inside for the kink at 7. That is a great little battle. And that is Partonen once again trying to hold his position around the outside.
Well, Partonen's lucky that the gator curbing did not catch him out. We see a lot of that where drivers go a little bit too far, drivers right, and they get caught out by that. Another battle we're watching is the Freesia battle. That's 6, 7, and 8. Freesia, Zamayola, and Pai. 6, 7th and 8th going through the carousel now. Ooh, Freesia with a little bit of a wiggle coming off of turn number 10 as he sets himself up for the kink. Not a bad little battle here as we're seeing this most of the race. Looking back at our lead battle as well, 0.3 of a second separate Partonen and Hisada, but we know that's nothing between those two.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes on that. You can keep your eyes on the timing tower to see how close that battle gets. I was interesting there. I thought Freesia actually made a mistake through that kink, and I thought he was going to lose the position, but everybody just held on. And no one went for anything crazy. They really want to try and catch up to JD Rodriguez. It'll be interesting to see the lap times this time by for Rodriguez and these drivers, because as Rodriguez crosses the line, it is a 50.3, and these guys are actually catching 3/10. You can see picture in picture is Toga Hisada still battling on. He's still looking for that overtake. And now you just start to see where they are. They're really starting to pull out here, but that little battle did cost them half a second last time by.
It did. And of course, also Partonen, if you watch him coming off of turn number 1 with a little bit of a wiggle. Here comes Hisada to the inside, side by side into turn number 5 as Partonen, he's going to go back to the outside and he's going to try and inch away just a little bit, but does he keep it through 6? Yes, he's able to muscle around Hisada and keep that lead, but for how long?
Well, it's going to be for another 11 laps, maybe. They may be trading positions, but they've got this 3-second lead over Viekainen. Man, we've not really talked about, because whereas Viekainen, can't even see him in the carousel right there. That just goes to show how much he's ahead. 3 seconds is the gap between Hisada and Viekainen. If they keep battling, they're going to lose time. They lost half a second to Viekainen last lap when they went with that side-by-side battle. They may only lose a few tenths this time, but when you keep doing that, the time comes on, and all of a sudden, you have 5 laps to go, and you're wondering, why is Viekainen right on our rear? So they've got to make this count, that they've got to take these overtaking battles, and they've got to be really crucial with it. As Salamola, he really starts now to try and make that move on Freesia, and he gets up. They're losing time on Timothy Reed now.
Yeah, and Timothy Reed trying to catch up to Rodriguez. He wants to go up 1 position. Still in the top 5, so a good showing for him. But again, Zamalola looking pretty good so far. He was really trying to bide his time as we're looking at Mascara and Han Sommer. So this is the battle for 15th and 16th as they're coming through turn number 14. Not a bad battle here as we see the 27 going up the hill right to complete yet just another lap. We're just past halfway here, and as we see, yeah, maybe a long race, but it's a quick race because of how fast these cars are going around the circuit.
Yeah, they're doing 1 minute 50s, 1 minute 51s out there today at Hans Sommer, trying to catch up. You've got a 5-car battle for P14. Battles everywhere in the field. Ryan Ware, Alexander Matei, Javier Mascara, Hans Sommer, and Ricardo Ruiz all here trying to have a little fight. And they're trying to just find a position. It's bragging rights at the end of the day. They'll get some iRacing points. They'll get some kudos from the drivers. But at the end of the day, it is bragging rights. Even if they're not battling at the front, you're still battling somebody. And that's what they're looking to do. Mascara holds on. In the background, Ruiz, he tried to look for a late move onto Soma. Could not get it. And they'll keep going. 5 in a line around Road America.
Mateo Ware ahead of him as well. So you're going to see that at this facility, especially with these cars, where you're going to have a group of a couple. So there's plenty of racing action to watch no matter where you go. Freesia still trying to hold off position over Pi as we're on board with the 1 car. He's also trying to catch up to Zamalola down through Canada corner, and you see up ahead, there's Timothy Reed. So Reed not able to get away too far yet, but if these drivers can hook up and catch Reed, I think we're going to have a great battle for 5th place here in just a couple of laps. Rodriguez also up ahead there. Where Matei also making some positions, but this battle here, we've seen it all race long, Craig, and while they may not have been passing too much, they've been keeping each other honest.
They've been keeping each other honest, and they've been racing fair as well, have these drivers. And Freesia, he is 3 places down for the day. Pi, 2 places down for the day. Unfortunately, not happening. These guys, they traded positions on the start. Hisada did not get the best of launches. And is he going to go once again for this move? Partonen may go for the block. He's not going to go for it. He's confident to take that wide line around turn 5 once again. And once again, if I'm a broken record, I apologize. Around the outside of 5 goes Partonen and holds the position. Hisada is really struggling there. It's one of the best chances to make an overtake around here. And you know better than yourself, taking that inside tight line is so close and so tough for these drivers, even if you're not battling anybody.
Second verse, same as the first. And yeah, Hisada also made that rare look to the inside in turn number 8. So he's trying to size up where he can pass Parton, and he's keeping him as close as he can. Would not be surprised if we see Hisada make a move that he hasn't made yet. So that is coming up. Timothy Reed coming down, and you see how a little bit closer the Zamaloa crew is behind him as well, as that battle for 6th place rages on.
Yeah, they gained a couple tenths last time by. Are they going to be able to catch even more time this time out? And Pi right on the back there in the yellow classic livery from the late 80s of a old brand, continues to see what he can do in the background. If anything, this is where you would be the driver in the hot seat with the popcorn, waiting to see the greatest show you can, and just waiting to take your moment to take the stage. With any of these drivers making a mistake, it's not happening. And Zamaloa is starting to pull away. Togo Hisada is starting to pull in. And I almost thought I saw him trying to make a move into turn 1 there. He didn't. This might be the closest he's been as he comes down to turn 5.
It is indeed, because normally we see him about 0.3 of a second off Partonen in coming off of turn number 3, and they were side by side through turn number 1. Let's see what happens as Partonen now takes the inside line back outside. They're side by side through turn number 5, but Partonen, he's been able to muscle around Hisada coming off of turn number 5, and yeah, once again, that's what we're seeing. But does Hisada stay to his inside in turn 6? He does. Partonen gives him room, and they go back single file through turn number 7.
Yeah, single file again. I think Hisada went a bit too hard there because you saw him slide the car a little bit there, just wanting to try and keep it steady there. Probably overheated the tires a little bit. So let's see what happens when he starts to cool these tires down. It's hard to cool these tires down when you're going down this hill off the carousel. Partonen is trying to push ahead, but it's so tough. You could see how many looks he gave Hisada for defense there, and it was enough. It was fine. Hisada had to look for his best opportunity. Hisada won't be looking for an opportunity here. After the late break, it's really hard to send it into Canada corner. Hard to send it in these 40-79s anyway.
Well, and of course, you set up your pass for Canada corner coming off of turn number 10, because you can easily get some great momentum coming off the King and get under that rear wing of the driver, or the rear bumper, depending on what you're driving, of that driver. Looking off the rear wing of Partonen, he's a little Hisada's a little further away than we've seen him this past time by. So yeah, one has to wonder if he's just cooling his tires off. Partonen, though, gonna try and close in on that inside, but here comes Hisada through turn number 1 as they'll go side-by-side formation through 1. Hisada backs off thanks to discretion. It's a better part of valor.
Hisada, I know it's late in the day, in the morning or the night. It's early in the morning, it's late in the night for Hisada. And I believe he said he did the race before. He thought he didn't have the energy to do another one. He's just showing he's got all the energy and more out there today. As Partonen, he just has to be on the defense. Maybe this time Hisada won't go for it. It would be a shock if he went for it now. He isn't. Maybe now he'll just follow the line. And yes, look at him. He's seeing what line Partonen take. It did not work for him, but he understands what he has to do. Just find the opportunity as he goes on once again. He's still not close enough. If he actually goes for that elusive overtake into turn 8, I will be very surprised. But you can see Partonen, he's a little bit wary of Togo's little tricks.
Yeah, because Togo's been doing it for the past several laps. Not sure if it's Togo trying to get into Partonen's head or what it is, but nonetheless, Togo backing off a little bit, going through the carousel and into the kink.
Yeah, into the kink they go. This time, one more time into the kettle bottoms and down into Canada corner. And again, still nothing out there. Not a lot else happening on the track. We still have those battles that we were talking about. Zamaloa, Frisha, and Pi still battling on in the battle of the back of the field. Everybody else, though, is just in their own little bubbles. We expected it to be a draft train today, but it's just been really interesting to see everybody is just on different pace out there. Viakainen usually can catch up with these guys, but they're on just another level today. Is there going to be a move this time from Hisada? He stays up. Partonen realizes he's giving him the little shake and bake. He's just waiting, and Hesada said, nah, I'm going to wait this time. I think he's realized his mistake.
And that's even with Hesada running the fastest lap of the race, 49.5 out of Hesada. So that goes to show that the draft is king here at Elkhart Lake. Let's see what Hesada has for Partonen in turn number 5. That's where he started to make his passes, but a little bit too far away this time, and one has to wonder, Craig, if that wiggle going into turn number 1 was part of the reason why Hesada was not able to go. Look at this, almost 3 wide going into 1.
Almost 3 wide into 1. Hans Sommer, Ricardo Ruiz, and that was Javier Mosquera, the car in the background. And Sommer is the man in the lead here. He got that overtake done on Ruiz. Has he got a bit too wide? He's overcooked it there. Gone too hot into turn 3. And this could be the opportunity for Ruiz to make a move. We're on board with Mosquera. He's got the best seat in the house for this. There is a defense on the grass. That's going to be dangerous. Mosquera had to get on the brakes. Maybe you could argue that was a bit late there from Sommer, but maybe not. They're holding each other up now with this driving. To the inside of 6 goes Ruiz. He may be able to hold this. Yeah, the washout there is too much. It is going to be Sommer who unfortunately has to give that position back. Probably getting a bit too hot after making that overtake.
Did anyone tell Ruiz that the grass is a lot less, there's a lot less grip on there? Because that's the second time he's done that this lap, but nonetheless, looks like it's working for him as he's opened up a gap heading out of the into the carousel. Now Sommer has to wait for Mosquera to try and make some sort of assault. I don't know if it's going to happen just yet. It might happen down in Canada as we see Mosquera catching up to Sommer. That's the battle for 16th place, but they also want to catch up to Ruiz and see what they have for him.
You're not missing anything in the lead. Toga Hesada once again, he attempted a turn 1 overtake, was not there. We're keeping our eyes on what these 3 are doing as Zamahola, he is now starting to turn the screw, and he's trying to catch up to the back of Timothy Reed for a top 5, but we're watching on this battle in the middle of the field. What can Sommer do? He got past once, and a mistake there from Ruiz with that, a mid-shifter with that on the grass. Whatever it was, it's a cool, calm, collected overtake there for Sommer, and now Ruiz is going to have to either use that slipstream or just defend against Javier Mosquera. Javier's going to be too far back. He won't be able to get it this time, but the inside, Sommer has compromised himself taking the inside. This could be a good little comeback for Ruiz. It's not going to work this time. He's blocked up Mosquera.
One has to wonder if those rumble strips bit just a little bit too much. They're called gator strips there because of how thick they are. So a little bite for the gator strips could have been the culprit there. You're on board with Sommer. We're looking at Hesada also picture in picture as he tries to catch up to Partonen once again, heading out of the carousel and going through the kink. Sommer trying to hold off Ruiz and Mosquera for 15th place. And Sommer with a great exit out there. But this Hesada Partonen battle too, Craig, that's been heating up once again.
Well, in the age-old-fashioned saying, it is battles on battles on battles. And you're looking at the 2 top battles in the field at the moment, as we've seen to see who's trying to get the 15th position out of this field and who can get the lead as Toga Hesada for probably the 15th lap looks to try and make a move on Partonen, and he'll try and do this again. We're going to see him. There he is, and he comes over the hill. Maybe this time he's close. He moves out. Partonen has to give him the respect. This is the easiest and the closest he's been to make a move. In fact, he's a nose ahead as they go into turn 1. He can't make it. He's been compromised again. Partonen, I've lost count. I don't have enough digits on one hand to count how many times Partonen has defended his position around the outside.
You know, I look, I see 5 to go. That's about how many times he hasn't had to defend his position. I should say how many laps he hasn't defended his position on the outside. I think the only way Hesada is going to get the lead is if he gets the full lead on the entry of the corner. He's going to try it again in turn number 5, but does Partonen have that muscle? And oh, Hesada with a little wiggle going out of 5.
Just a little wiggle, but he keeps it going, and he hasn't lost much time. He just spun the wheels up. You saw the 11s on the ground, and he just keeps on driving. And now what's interesting, the sun is out. The temperatures, it's only about 5 laps to go, but these temperatures will start to spike up a little bit now that we've got some light hitting the field. It's going to warm up the track a little bit. They're going to have to be a little bit easier on the braking. That could be interesting. Partonen, I would love to know what he's eaten today. I'd love to know what he's actually put on his tires, because the grip he's getting is insane out there today. We're also looking on the picture-in-picture as Peter Kwiatek. He had a moment in Canada corner. think he touched the rear there and just then got on the throttle a bit too hot.
That's easy to do through there. Also, something I'm watching, Sean Langton is up ahead. We'll see if how much of a part he has to play in this battle for the lead, but that could be in the next couple of corners. And the next question is, where do they catch Langton? How will that affect this battle? We're looking at the 1, 2, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, not too far away either. In case something happens, they'll try and pounce on our leaders. Partanen, Hisada going back into turn 1. Does Hisada pop to the inside again? He looks to the inside, and he's too far away to make anything happen.
He is looking for whatever he can do, and he just cannot get closer. And when you get the wake, you get the dirty air behind here, you can't even get the throttle down on the exit, and he's just having to hope. There is no IndyCar we talked about earlier. Partanen is just defending this like a stone wall. Like a typical Finnish person, he is just cool, calm, collective, and he is just deadpan. And that's what he's doing right now. Again, he gets the position. And look at the slide Hisada has to do. I know he likes his car set up a little bit loose. He does like that. But you have to start questioning, and Hisada's going to hit me over the head if I say this. Is this a bit too loose out here? I think you need a little bit of rigidity, if I can say that word right, just to try and get yourself going here.
Yeah, you got to have a little bit of rigidity, especially near the end of the race. Hisada losing just a little bit of gap there. Or following the 14 of J.D. Rodriguez as he sits pretty in 4th. Doesn't have to worry too much about Timothy Reed behind him. Vilakanen also trying to stay on that bottom step of the podium. Half-second separate Vilakanen and Rodriguez coming out of the kink. But again, we're at that point where there's battles in the field, and there's drivers not too far away to capitalize if something goes wrong, which is easy to capitalize here in Road America.
Well, I know they're not together, but 4 into 3 doesn't work, and something has to give at some point. Rodriguez has done a fantastic drive at the end of this race to start getting the pace down. He was 2/10 faster last time by. It's going to be interesting to see how quick he is this time. Up ahead, the leaders looking for moves. These two are just there. We've got a chance for another overtake for the lead. Is this going to be for the umpteenth time? It is! Around the outside for Partanen. Togo Hisada has tried. He has tried. He has tried. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, but you know what? Would not be surprised if this is Hisada's way of trying to find a better way around. Now, yes, he is going to be on the inside. Partanen shuts the door just a little bit, but allows Hisada to go through because Partanen knows he can just muscle around that number 4 coming through. But does Hisada have the lead? No! There's a left front wheel that you see. That's Partanen. They're side by side through turn number 6. Can they keep it up through 7? They're going to try. No, Hisada thinks better of it. He goes off 2 wheels off the grass, but nonetheless able to keep it going.
Able to keep it going. I would have thought at this stage he probably would have tried to hold that, but around the outside of the kink is tough. It's a kink. You got to take it almost flat in some cars. So understandably, you try to go side by side, it's not possible. And that's probably the 3rd time we've seen that today from Hisada. He tried to make that move. I do wonder, he was looking at a move earlier in the race down at turn 8. Maybe if he just held off a little bit, it was hard. There was a driver to his inside. Maybe he could have looked for a move to try and get that into 8. Try and catch Partanen off. He can't at the moment. He holds on again. And we're going to have to do this all over again. They're using every chance of an overtaking corner that there is around Road America to really look for a chance, and it just isn't working for Togo.
Something to watch out for with Togo. He's not tried to make a move going into Canada corner. This past time by, he took a pop to the inside. Watch that the next 2 laps. As we go back down the straightaway, Hisada going back down into the inside. We're also watching the battle for 3rd place. Hisada has a little bit of an edge, but still Partanen able to muscle his way around the outside.
I just don't know how Partanen keeps doing it. And this is absolutely brilliant driving from both, because the respect you have to give when you're on the inside to make sure you don't wash out and hit the man on the outside is one thing. for the man on the outside to go around with all that speed is fantastic. And now, again, is there going to be overlap into 5? There is. Togo is trying to open up the line. Maybe this time he actually had the line, but he's gone a bit too wide and he's slid out here. And side by side, the other way this time for turn 6. And can Hitsada hold this round the outside? He can. Now what about we go into 7 side by side? Parton around the outside. He just showed what it is to do for Togo Hitsada.
And Vilkanen with an off in turn number 5 as well. So we've had a pass for the lead there, lost the lead, and now a spinner. So JD Rodriguez has moved up to 3rd place. See if we can get a replay on that. But yeah, while that battle for the lead was going on, you had the issues in turn 5. Hitsada, probably about as close as he's been all race long in the kink, but still too far away to make anything happen through kettle bottoms and down into Canada corner. I want to see if he does make that pop to the inside we saw earlier. He did not, but he's right under that gearbox of Partonen going through turn number 12.
Just a few more corners, and then Barney will have that white flag. GSRC replay here of Vilkanen. He's trying to get that around the outside. Now, Partonen's done it. Maybe he's gone a bit too tight. Maybe JD just washed out a little bit. And that is such a hard slapper on the wheels. It is unfortunate what happened. Thankfully, no damage. He's still going. White flag comes out for Barney. And this is the final chance at turn 1 he's got. Is it the final time we see a Partonen around the outside at turn 1? It might be. And again, and again, and again. You cannot stop this man around the outside of turn 1.
Gotta wonder how he has such good grip around turn 1. He's had it from the beginning all the way till now. And of course, he's also had that wonderful grip around turn number 5. We're on board the nose of Togo Hitsada. He's gonna look to the inside. Now the outside. Partonen does give him the outside this time by. He saw what he had last time by, not thought anything of it. And of course, Hitsada with the advantage. Oh, a little bit of a lockup from Partonen. But Hitsada, he's gonna try and get that edge. He has it in turn 6. It's been a while since we've seen it, but he loses it just a little bit through turn number 6.
Losing it a little bit through 6, but he's got the lead. And now he's going to be in the deep end. On the grass goes Partonen, and he's managed to hold it. Partonen, he looks for the move into 8, and he showed Togo Hitsada how to do it. They're going to go side by side through the carousel. This is an iRacing moment. Side by side through the carousel they'll go. Hitsada gets the overlap. He gets it. He'll still have a car left. All by the barest of margins. They're not going to try and do this. Side by side through the kink they are. This is Partonen. This is Hitsada. The inside will belong to Hitsada, but if he stays side by side, the inside for Bill Mitchell will be Partonen. Here they go into Canada, and Hitsada gets it, and he actually just made a checkup, changed his line to Partonen, could not get that side by side. He's gonna have to defend into Bill Mitchell. He does. Partonen's looking. Hitsada's made a slide, and that's a big slide. Partonen going into the final corner at the lead. Barney's getting ready with the checkered flag. Partonen is gonna hold it in a battle for the ages.
Oh, one last look that Togo had, but it was still too little too late. A rare miscue by the Japanese driver, and he makes his way into 2nd place. Vilkanen bumps up to 6th after he fell back to about 7th or 8th after that spin. Rodriguez finishes off on the podium as well, but what a final lap. I mentioned watch Hitsada through turn number 12, and he had a great defense up until his dive bomb move to the Mitchell. Fantastic move to retake the lead.
Just that one moment, Hitsada, he did the right thing. We're watching the drivers come on by, having Mascara just there. These guys have been battling all the time, but it's Ruiz who gets it over Mascara. What could have happened there? Just one of those things. Just went a little bit too wide there, trying to push it through Bill Mitchell. We don't talk a lot about the danger of the Bill Mitchell bend, but if you go too wide on the exit, that curb can kick you. And with ground force effect, you will lose control. One hell of a job to save it, though. Fantastic driving as we get ready to just run down that top 10, that top 29, and we catch our breath, because it is Partonen who really, I don't even have the words anymore. He takes the victory from Togo Hitsada, who started on pole and lost it. JD Rodriguez fought back to get that P3, and he did apologize after that incident there. A couple of laps later, Timothy Reid will get 4th. Jonah Friescher will be 5th. Vimo Vilkanen will take 6th. Kartik Pai will get that 7th, just missing out after Vilkanen getting the overtake, and Gabby Martinez will be 8th. Oya Zamaola will take the 9th, and Connor Tolman will be the 10th. I'm going to rest my voice while Jeremy gives you page 2.
Yeah, you definitely need that. That was one heck of a finish. Szczesny finishes off 11th. Kunhardt 12th. Freckleton made his way around the top 10, but finishes off in 13th. Ryan Ware 14th. Ricardo Rui 15th. Javier Mascara 16th. Daniel Gallus is 17th, 18th Hans Sommer. Alexander Matei, we did see he was near the front of the pack, but something happened there near the end. 19th, John Langton finishes off at 20th.
We'll get to the last page. These are the page with the drivers that had some moments out there. Remember that first lap crash we saw? So 21st will be Vazquez, 22nd will be Kevin Parrish, and then it's Barry Weston 23rd. Christian Loa will be 24th. Then Julian Ditchburn retired early in 25th, as did Tyler Green. Alex Millworth also in 27th. Rylan Potter 28th. And Javier Sanchez, we saw at the start of the race, had a moment. He retired as well. 29 drivers. And what a race we had. As we catch our breath, we are having some time for some interviews. I think the only way we start with these interviews is the postman. And from one postman to another, it is Paulie Partonen. And the only question I've got to ask, how did you keep making those moves around the outside to defend your lead?
I don't know. I wish I had some answers, but I really don't have any answers. Like, well, that was I think was the best race I've ever had. Like, I have said that many times in past, but like for real, this was the best race ever. So insane race. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I think anyone would be glad after a race like that. That was a really good start as well. We're just seeing the highlights. Getting a good start and getting around the outside, it was fantastic. And then this, we did see a lot of time that you had to get on that defense. We know the pedigree you and Hasada bring, but what is it about this track? Because it feels like you love this track at the end of the day.
Yeah, I love this track. I think I have like 3 broadcast wins here, so every time they are fun races. Like I never had a boring race at Road America, and yeah, I don't know. This track is like old school track. It doesn't have those like modern safety zones or whatever they are. Just there's a crash immediately if you go outside of your driving lines, and you're basically done. So it has the danger feeling every time you brake. You need to be very brave on the break-ins and not go into the crash, and I think that's the reason why I love this track. Like it's full danger.
It's full danger, and I mean, you got both of you just swinging around left and right and trying to find a way. It just adds to the danger, which really, I probably know the answer to this. What was your thought process on that final lap? Because for half of the lap, you didn't have the lead for the first time all race. What was going through your head?
Well, I know Hisada. He really cranks up that aggressiveness towards the end of the race. So I noticed that on the second last lap when he was braking into turn 3 like super late, and I did the switch back there, and I knew that he will be even more aggressive on the final lap. So I was thinking like bit outside of box, and I was picking up the different line for corner 3, and okay, maybe it was a mistake in the end, but yeah, then when Hisada went past me, I was like, oh, this is done. Like I will never ever going to be able to catch him, but for some reason he made a small mistake or brake it too early. I don't know what corner it is, but before that long right-hander, there's a bit slower left, and for some reason he was super slow there, so I had to actually avoid him. I was not trying to overtake him, but I had to avoid him a bit, and then we went side by side, and I was a bit sad that I didn't have the correct line for the big braking zone on the back straight, but yeah, as we noticed, Toko was better on the brakes. Like I was sure that he has inside line, I cannot do anything, and then I was like, okay, I either die or win this, and I just pushed the full throttle on the second last corner, and I don't know what happened to Toko. I think he made a small mistake because suddenly he was behind me. So that was a bit weird. I need to check the replay for that. But yeah, and when I saw myself at the front line, I screamed as loud as I can because I was so hyped. That was so clean battle and super fun battle. So I think that was all in my head during the last lap.
All the emotion came out, and quite frankly, it is deserved emotion that should come out. A fantastic battle. Great respect from both of you. Paulie, it is only fair. The floor is yours for any shout out before you let you go and rest your voice. And also, you probably need to get yourself a little bit of a shower after all that racing.
Yeah, I'm super sweaty. Well, thanks for Kimmo Viljakainen. We had fun. We did some races together and we were on voice chat on the broadcast. So he kept me company and kept me sane during the race. And really shout out to Toko Hisada. Like I think the younger generation is finally catching up as the old guys. And seems like Toko is already faster than me. He has been faster than me on many races. But yeah, I was able to get the win today. But I can guarantee you guys that Toko will be winning this championship this season. He has super good pace and a super good guy, and I think he will just keep getting better and better during the season. So I'm looking forward to more wins from Toko. I think he still misses the first one, but I think he will have many wins this season. So congrats to Toko and super big thank you for the race. You were very clean. It's always nice to have a battle with you. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much, Paulie Parton, and the winner of a fantastic race here in the Lotus 79s. And it's only fair if the man who won the race gets interviewed, the man who came second gets interviewed. Jeremy is alongside the man known as Togo Hisada.
Yeah, let's chat with Togo. What a fantastic race you had. Of course, unfortunately, one person can only win, but nonetheless, great battles between you and Paulie. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, just my biggest mistake is just ruin my fourth position. I just putting off the clutch too early and and failed to have a good start, good launch. And Paulie passed me, and then they just and today this condition is star one and the carousel is just so difficult to follow because of the tremendous turbulence. So very easy to follow because this is a so high speed track and the very strong slipstream, but the track is too narrow to make a move. So I just move under the fill out his mirrors under the wait for his mistake, but he didn't make mistakes. So this last 5 or 4 laps, I'm not sure how we survived with zero contact, but he's very fair, left room all the time, and very fast and the very nice guy.
I'd say a lot of your battles we follow most of the race. A lot about how much of that in the early part of the race was learning where you could pass partner in, so later out of the race you could eventually, possibly at that point, take the lead and eventually the win.
Sorry, mate. Internet connection is worse. I cannot listen. What? Second, please.
So, how much of your passes early on were just setting yourself up for later in the race to know where you could make your move on Parton?
Yeah, I'm trying to search the different line all the time. And turn 1, turn 3, this is difficult to make a move in this windy condition. So I have to try the different things. So just trying the different thing after a lap and that's it. Yeah.
Well, Paulie gave you a lot of props during the race, said a lot of great things about you. Who do you have to thank today?
This Lotus 79 communities and the Global SimRacing Channel broadcast team and of course the Paulie Parton.
All right, Togo Hisada, he's fast, he's quick. Thanks for joining us. Congratulations on second place.
Thank you.
And Craig, it's no surprise that anytime we have a GSRC broadcast where Togo Hisada is racing, we always end up interviewing him because he is just that good. He's always up at the front. And if these are the battles we're going to see this year, I think it's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be absolutely amazing to start the season and to end this season. It's been fantastic racing today, and I have loved every moment of it. I still have a voice. I don't know what it's going to be like tomorrow morning. I don't care, because that's why we do this. That's why we all love watching it, and that's why we like driving these cars. The racing is real. The cars might not be real, but who cares? We're all having the fun. So as we round off for the day, next time out, we're at Sebring. And I'd love to thank everybody here today. Jeremy, beside me. Daniel, we've got Christian as well working. We've got Dougie, who made the cameras. So if you have loved everything here, please do check out our social media. Check out our website, our merchandise. Not really a website anymore, but check out our merchandise. Do not forget to subscribe, not only to the iRacing YouTube and Twitch. Don't forget to check us out on Global SimRacing Channel as well. We will be back on this channel next Sunday for the second round. It is Sebring. We talked about it before. It's bumpy. Everyone knows you've got to respect the bumps out there. There is. And remember, remember, for Europe, the clocks do go forward. So do remember that next week. I have to remind myself as well, because you don't really want to be missing another day of action like this out here. Why would you be missing this? You've all watched what could be one of the top iRacing top 10 moments you will see for a while. And we are so happy to give it to you all. So it is Partinen's day out there today. And like he said, the youngsters are starting to get up to him. The postman might be looking to have a retirement plan coming soon. But the key thing is, he is on top today. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, race clean, race hard, and we will see you on the track.